ለመማር ወደ ትምህርት ተቋም መሄድ ግድ አይደለም።
ናሽናል አቪዬሽን ኮሌጅ
ራሳችሁን ከኮሮና ቫይረስ ወረርሽኝ እየጠበቃችሁ በቤታችሁ ወይም በተመቻችሁ ቦታ
በኢንተርኔት አማካኝነት በኦንላይን ትምህርታችሁን መከታተል ይቻላል።
ካናዳ ከሚገኘው ኢንተርናሽናል ኤር ትራንስፖርት አሶሲዬሽን አያታና
ከእንግሊዙ ኢንስቲትዩት ኦፍ ኮመርሻል ማኔጅመንት ICM ጋር በመተባበር የሚሰጡ ትምህርቶችን ተከታትላችሁ በ6 ወር ጊዜ በዓለም አቀፍ ደረጃ ተቀባይነት ያለውን የስልጠና ማስረጃ ባለቤት መሆን ይቻላል።
ከኢትዮጵያ ሲቪል አቪዬሽን ባለስልጣን ሙሉ ዕውቅና ባገኘንባቸው የፍላይት ኦፕሬሽን እና የሆስተስ ስልጠናም በምዝገባ ላይ ነን።
ጥያቄና መልስ፣ የክፍል ስራዎች ብሎም ፈተና መፈተን ክፍል ውስጥ እንዳላችሁ አይነት
ልምድ ባላቸው መምህራን እየተማራችሁ
በኦንላይን ባላችሁበት ቦታ
አድራሻ ከ22 ማዞሪያ ወደ ሾላ ገበያ በሚወስደው መንገድ 150 ሜትር ገባ ብሎ ናሽናል አቪዬሽን ኮሌጅ
የናሽናል ኤርዌይስ እህት ኩባንያ
ህልሞን እውን ያደርጋል።
We discussed a number of things. One, what is organization culture? I remember we did that. And we talked of attitudes, values, behaviors, norms, okay, how they are shared among members of the organization. Okay, I remember us discussing that last week. Now, we also looked at other key issues. We looked at core cultural characteristics. Okay, we say that there are aspects of core cultural characteristics and the value that is placed on the employees, very important. I discussed healthy organization culture. What was healthy organization culture? And I want to ask, Mamo, you're on top of my screen, number 1. What was healthy organization culture? Maybe you can remind us, just to refresh ourselves what we learned.
Unhealthy culture is a conducive environment for all employees and the organization to be fruitful toward their goal.
Okay. So healthy organization culture, we say this is where employees, you had finished, Mamo?
Yep.
Okay, this is where employees are treated well and it creates a feeling of being valued, okay, and appreciated. Okay, we also looked at, after looking at healthy, we looked at another type of culture, which we said it's called the strong versus weak. Thank you. Okay, so let's look at, who can tell us strong versus weak culture? Strong versus weak culture. Okay, so let's, Ayele, what was strong versus weak culture?
Yes.
Continue.
When we say a strong culture, it is deep-rooted, adhered by every member of the company, and they apply in every transaction and in every works that they execute. Weak culture is like on and off. It is not adhered by every staff, and they do it, they implement it sometimes and they forgot and go back to square one for the next day.
Okay.
And weak culture is only put in paper and slogans in the company, but the behavior of the employees are different from what they say and what they want to be. In a strong culture, every employees perform uniformly and strongly towards their culture. This is what I understand.
Okay, so we looked at weak and strong cultures and we said these are also other types of cultures that exist within the organization. And we said strong cultures, basically they are widespread within the organization and they exert major influence on the way people behave. But weak culture is limited in terms of how people are able to influence. Now, we also looked at subcultures and dominant culture. Subcultures and dominant culture. Now, who will tell us, Bikal or Biru?
That's the question, sorry.
Subculture and dominant. Can you hear us?
I think subculture is a culture that's accepted by few. Did you get me? Subculture is a culture that's accepted by few peoples only, and the dominant culture is a culture that's accepted by most of the employee, or most of the, accepted by the majority.
Okay, okay. So subcultures, we say these are cultures existing within parts of the organization, within. But dominant culture, this is the culture that is known within the organization. And you remember we said the dominant culture sometimes is depicted by the personality. It brings out the personality of the organization. So it reflects the core values, the dominant culture, dominant perception that are generally shared throughout the organization. But subculture, cultures existing within parts of the organization. So we can have several subcultures. You remember me saying doctors have certain things they do. We also talked about you can have a profession, lawyers. I'm sure insurance people, IT people have different types of culture. Okay. Now, we also went further to look at what we call the competing value framework, competing value framework. And we said that this framework is based on two aspects, flexibility and stability, internal versus external. Now, we came up and looked at four types of culture. So let's look at the first one, clan culture. Just to remind ourselves. Let's have Bekal, clan culture. What is clan culture? Clan culture, we discussed it. Bekal, are you there? I know you are driving, you are heading home, but I know you can still talk.
I'm just at home.
Clan culture. Yes?
Clan culture.
Yes, clan culture. We talked about it.
Yeah.
What is that?
It is strategically noticed and planned to be as a norm and the value of the organization. This is planned culture.
Clan culture.
Doctor.
Clan.
Yeah. Clan culture.
Yes, look, I'm typing it in the chat room. Clan culture. Okay. What is clan culture? We talked about it, so we are just reviewing what we studied on Tuesday. Clan culture. Let me hear. Are you there? Okay, Bekal is not speaking. Anybody wants to tell us what we said clan culture?
Clan culture is related with internally strong and flexible. Okay. It is a clan culture.
Okay. What type of relationship exists amongst the employees? What do we see in the clan culture?
Internally, they are very strong. They try to be flexible on their internal practices, but externally they don't expose themselves for the nearly market, and they are not as such market oriented. They are internally imposed. Yeah.
Okay.
Doctor.
So clan, yes, just to, and please, as I teach, it is good you pick a few notes, because you see, like now, you don't have to remember everything that I talked about, but you can also mention 2-3 things. When I'm explaining, sometimes I focus on the key points. So all of you, as I'm talking, please note in your notebook before I send the notes. So clan culture, we say this is where there's some level of friendliness. People are very highly friendly, okay? And I say this is, you remember I said it is like an extended family. People are more close together. They are more close-knit together. They tend to associate more with each other. So they enjoy working because it's more like a family. No wonder we are using the word clan, just like you have clans in Ethiopia. So characterized by strong internal focus with high degree of flexibility. So people are more cohesive. They are more friendlier. They are more like a family in clan culture. Okay, now number 2, we looked at adhocracy culture. Okay, who will tell us that? adhocracy culture? Okay. Adhocracy culture. Somebody is asking for the password again to use. Biru, is it you?
Yes, that I am.
Oh, okay. So the hostess fire, please send Biru the password. Okay, so let's continue. What is adhocracy culture? What is adhocracy culture? Somebody, we revise this. We are just going. Yes.
Sure.
Mamo, you want to speak? Or Ayele? Adhocracy culture. I also talked about it last week, or on Tuesday, sorry.
Tuesday. I forgot it.
Anybody? You're getting me worried now, whether we are remembering what we learned. Adhocracy culture. Or people are looking at my screen when I'm talking and they're not picking down the notes. Okay, adhocracy culture. I need to see somebody. What did we say was adhocracy culture? Am I pronouncing it the way you understand? Let me just put it in the chat room so that you can see the word that I'm using. But we discussed it last week, I remember. Adhocracy culture. What did we say was adhocracy culture? Mikal, welcome. I can see you have gotten home.
Yeah, advocacy. It is flexible. It is flexible in external. Externally.
Yes.
Externally focused. They are visionary. They want to fly with external environment. When they decide on some things, they always decide flexibly. They are advocacy.
Thank you very much, Bekal. That's very correct. Adhocracy culture, we are saying it's highly innovative, very innovative. They assess what the future wants. So these guys are very, like you said, they are very visionary. This culture, visionary. They want to see what does the market want to provide for us. So we say adhocracy culture, emphasize flexibility, but also paying attention to the external environment. No wonder there's a lot of innovation. Absence of hierarchy and bureaucracy. We don't have, you remember I said last week, on Tuesday, sorry, I said they do not have to sit and look at, for example, who is supposed to report to who. No. If you have a brilliant idea, walk to the CEO's office. That is adhocracy culture. Okay, and then we looked at also.
And also they are ever changing.
They are
ever changing. You are noticing that.
Yes,
because of their flexibility. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, and then we looked at also another type of culture, we called it the market culture. The market culture. Who can tell us what was the market culture? Market culture. Market culture. Yes, Mamo?
Yes. Market culture is already characterized by high competition between firms.
Market culture means competitive.
Very competitive, very correct. Yes. Thank you very much, Mamo and Ayele. Yes.
Can you hear me, Doctor?
Yes. Yes. I've had Mamo and I've had Ayele competitiveness.
I'm saying market culture is competitive, highly competitive in the market and compete each other.
Okay, very correct. And I agree with that. And I agree also with Mamo because he had spoken. It's a culture that is concerned with stability and control. But here we are looking at competitiveness and productivity, which is very, very important. And then lastly, we had hierarchy culture. Hierarchy culture. The last one was hierarchy culture. And remember, we watched the video of the professor. Hierarchy culture. Who can tell us that? Hierarchy culture.
It is very internally strong. Internally strong. Ambacal. And very controlled environments.
Very controlled. So
yeah, it is very stable pattern. They are conceived in internally strategies.
Okay.
That's hierarchical.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. Hierarchy culture is just a hierarchy. When you go to an organization, you are able to see who is the boss within the organization, what are the hierarchies. So here we are focusing on the hierarchy. And I said for most leaders or coordinators of projects, that's what they want to do. And the best example we can give is government institution. Government institution. Please be noting down some of these small things we are discussing. I think it is important because you will remember more. I think there's a saying that says what? The shortest pen. Let me get that for you. There is a saying, you might assume there's no need to write. My head will remember, but you will forget, okay? So there is a saying, the shortest pencil beats the longest memory. The shortest pencil beats the longest memory. What do I mean by this? The shortest pencil, basically you might be saying, okay, I don't need to write. That sounds very simple. I'll remember it tomorrow. After a shot, the memory is beaten. So you better have the shortest pen, even if you're noting 1 or 2 points. Okay, so let's, okay. Yes, that's okay. I like writing myself. I like writing a bit when I'm just picking, even if you're talking, I'll just pick 1, 2 points because I'll always remember them and I can refer. Now, how is organization culture created? That is what we want to look at today. And I'll be giving a few examples. Now, organization culture is influenced by 2 aspects. 1, company founders, the company founders. Who are these? This is the person that has the vision of where the organization should be. If I'm the founder, I have already thought through the problem. I've already thought through how things should be done. I have already looked at, for example, if I'm starting an institution, I'll be able to look at, I have already visualized where this institution should be. So that is where we are saying organization culture is influenced by company founders, the people who are to establish the organization. So these people can drive the vision and the culture of the organization throughout. Number 2, experience with the external environment. External environment. External environment we are looking at what kind of the macro environment can we operate on? Let me try to draw something. I want to see whether I can add a slide. I show you something on the kind of environment that we have as an institution or organization. I don't know whether this toolbar has shapes. Okay, I'll just try to draw because I can't see shapes. So I will draw 3 circles. It will not be very perfect because I'm using but you can see, okay? You can see. Because I'm not using chalk on the board, I'm just trying to use these. Okay. I want to explain the kind of environment that exists. Now I'll use different color to highlight that, to highlight my environment. So the first environment here, okay, not yet changed. The first environment, I can put something like this, is what we call, note this, this is what we call, okay, let me start by explaining. Let's pick the company, any company.
Internal environment.
Yes, the internal environment, correct. I'm picking one company. The breweries was what? Habisha. The breweries was Habisha. So let's assume this environment is Habisha beer. So this is the internal environment. Internal, I'm trying to use my pens here. Internal environment. What does, you can draw in your book, it will be easier. What does the internal environment entail? This is where we have 1, vision. 1, vision. 2, the organization's mission. 3, this is where we have the assets. 4, this is where we have the personnel. Okay, what else can I put there? 5, this is where we have the technology. What is within that organization? We are calling it the internal environment. Now, note something. The CEO of Habesha Breweries can control this environment. How? He can fire the employees. He can recommend better technologies. He can be able to control. So we talk of control here. Please write it, control in this environment. I can't write much with my pen. Control, internal environment. Now let's move on to the next environment. The next environment, it's like when you're peeling an onion, when you pick an onion, you see the way you peel? That is how that environment, it's in layers. Now this environment, I'm going to put some things like ticks, is the immediate environment after the organization. Habesha Breweries, besides being within the institution, there is an environment that surrounds it. What do we have here? We call it the micro environment. Please write it in your book somewhere. Micro. I'm trying to use my pencil here. Micro environment. What do we have in the micro environment? We are looking at suppliers. Suppliers are there. Suppliers are not inside Habesha Breweries. They are from outside. The people who bring us the raw materials that we require. We are looking at competitors. Do you have competitors? Do you have competitors?
Yes.
You have. So we are looking at competitors. We are looking at customers. Question, for example, and I think I'll ask the person who works in that organization. I'll ask the person who works in the, sorry, I've moved my screen by mistake. I'll ask the person who works in that organization so that they can share with us. Now, in Habesha Breweries, can the CEO control this? Can the CEO control suppliers, customers?
The person working in brewery.
Yeah, Biru, yes, Biru. Can the CEO wake up and control these people? Let me hear. Here internally we have said he can control. What about here? Can he control, Biru?
Yes. He's control everything.
Here?
Yeah.
Can he control customers? Your CEO?
No. Other managers, divisional managers, and regional managers, and other departments are controlling the customers as well as the stakeholders at all.
Okay, let me ask you a question, Biru. So your CEO can be able to say, I want 1,000 customers coming today to our breweries. Will they come?
He can't control, he can't order.
Are you getting yes, Mamo? Yes? Mamo, you're saying what?
Yeah.
He can't control and he can't order.
He can't control and he can't order because this is an immediate environment. He can manage or he can, look at the word I'm using here. He can manage or he can influence, not the influence. Are you getting it? Here we said he can control. Here we are saying he can influence. He cannot control them because these are customers who are out there. What do we do to influence customers? We adopt marketing strategies. What do we do to control, to influence suppliers? We pay them. We pay them at the right time. We ensure that we are credit worthiness. We meet. What about our competitors? What do we do? Competitors, we look at how we can compete with them. Are you getting that? The micro environment. Are we together?
Competitors may cut price, right?
Sorry?
Competitors may cut price at once.
Yes, that's... Okay, Mamo, we are not getting you fully, Mamo.
So what I'm saying is,
yes,
competitors are not as such controllable. They may cut the price overnight, right?
Yes, they may cut the price overnight. For example, raw materials that were coming to Habesha Breweries, a competitor can buy all of them and you are left with no raw materials and you cannot make any beer. Are you getting that? So that can influence, yes. So the only thing the company can do is try to do some level of influence. So, and the last one, unless there's a question, I'll put excess. I'll put excess in the outside and the other environment. Remember, I said this is like peeling an onion. You're peeling an onion. So as you peel the onion, there are various layers that are coming. Now, this is the outer. This is the most outer environment. It's called the macro. Note there, macro. Okay, macro environment. This is not in my slides, so you need to write it in your book somewhere. This is not part of my slides. I say there are things I'll be teaching out. Now, macro environment. What does this environment entail? This environment entail the PESTEL. I think you know this, PESTEL. Many of you know PEST, they know the PEST, but there is the PESTEL. You can write it. I'm straining to write with my laptop. PESTEL. Sometimes in management, people add the D at the end, PEST. Okay, it has many names. You can call PEST. The first one is PEST. PEST is the short form of political, economic, social, technological. Other researchers and others went further to write PESTEL. PESTEL. Political, economic, social, technological, environmental, and legal. Okay, legal. Okay. Others went and added a D. Who can tell me what does the D entail? D for dog. This. D. Anybody who can tell us what the D stands for?
Development.
Sorry?
Maybe development of all.
No.
Dynamism.
No. I think this one I should buy when I come to Ethiopia. I should buy pizza to the one who gets it.
This is P or D?
D for dog. D-O-G, D. Am I pronouncing it well for you? D.
Yeah. For where do you place it? In the macro environment?
PESTELed. Okay, let me write in the chat group. Just a minute, check in the chat group so that you see. PESTELed. So it can be PEST. If you read some books, okay, sorry, PESTEL. Others call it TEPL. TEPL. PESTELed. All those are the same. So I want to know, what does the D entail? Somebody?
Is that demand?
Nope.
Development?
Biru Abera, can you try? No, it's not demand.
Maybe distribution.
Democracy.
Becca, yeah, Biru?
Democracy.
Democracy, wrong.
Distribution.
Which one?
Distribution.
No. Look at it. Political, economic, social,
technological,
environmental, legal, and okay, let me show you the slides. I think I need to show something here. Just a minute. Yeah, I think I need to show you something. I need to run through PESTEL now because I'm seeing there is need. There is need for PESTEL. Just a minute. I'm opening my slides. I'm opening my other slides somewhere on my computer. Just give me 1 minute. I might be assuming we know these things. Okay, I might be assuming we know, but so I want to show you what PESTEL and what aspects you can capture in PESTEL analysis. Okay, so I want to share. Let me share something with you. Let me share my screen. Now look at that. Please pick a few notes because these are not part of my notes. This is beyond. Now look at that. I've said PEST. PEST, it can either be PEST or PESTEL. Okay, PESTEL. Now I've given the outline that this stands for political, economic. Now let's look at this. Look at this. PESTEL analysis of course, has various aspects that you can look at as a business: political, economic, social, technological. But let me use the next model. I think it is easier so that it's more visible to you guys. Now look at that. Look at that, the model. What does these things entail? Now you see political. Look at political.
Demographic, doctor.
Who is
Demographic.
that? Ayele, congrats. Good. Congratulations. Demographic.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get to demographic. Let me just run through this. So political, we are looking at government policies, political stability. You look at how the organization is affected by the environment you're operating in. How is Habesha Breweries affected by political environment, for example? Policies, government policies. I'm sure in Ethiopia, the government policy play a very critical role. Political stability. If there is no war in Ethiopia, for example, if there is no war in Ethiopia, what happens? Political stability. Businesses are able to thrive at the end of the day. Corruption. Is corruption a factor in Addis Ababa, for example? Does it affect the way we do business? Yes. Indeed. Corruption. Yes. Foreign trade policy. Are we doing business with other organizations that are outside the country? Okay. So that can also be a factor. And trade restrictions, labor laws. There are certain labor laws. So all these are under political. Look at economic. The economic growth of the country has a bearing on Habesha Brewery's performance. Okay. The exchange rates, because I'm sure they buy things from outside the country, have a bearing on performance. Interest rates, inflation rates, disposable income, unemployment rates. Somebody might ask, how will unemployment rate affect Habesha Breweries? Can somebody tell us that?
What?
Under economic. Yes. Is this a factor? Is this one?
Yes.
Okay, who is talking?
Yes.
Ayele is talking.
Okay, Ayele.
It affects the unemployment rate, affects the market of Habesha Brewery. When people are employed, their disposable income increases and they will have a surplus money to drink and to entertain themselves. When the unemployment rate increases, the disposable income similarly decreases and they use the residual money for subsistence, for eating, living and others, not for entertainment.
Correct. Are you seeing the relationship? Can you see? If I have no money, I'll not have time to drink. Yeah. I'll not be able to enjoy Habesha Brewery's products. So these guys will not be in the market. So every time when you do a PESTEL analysis, you look at the organization and relate to what you're doing. Socially, population growth rate, for example, if we have more people giving birth and the population grows, it basically means we are straining on our income, okay? And all the others like lifestyle and attitudes. What is the lifestyle and attitudes? Cultural barriers. Are we allowed to take a beer or not? Does religion allow us to do or not? Health consciousness. A beer is not good for your health. So Habesha Breweries loses customers because of such. Social. Technological. What kind of technologies are you adopting that make you better? Automation, for example, research, R&D, research and development. Now, when you look at technology, I think I was told when I was last in Addis Ababa, I was told Habesha Breweries has a certain technology that your beer, I think when it's cold, it has a mark. I think something like that. It shows a mark.
Color. Gold color.
On the bottle.
Oh, the bottle is darker.
Yeah, there is a
gold.
There is a color that's changing from white to blue when it's cold enough for drink.
Wow. I think I love that technology. We don't have it in Kenya. So that's beautiful. You see research, technology, research, R&D, that falls under technology. And then E, environmental. Are there environmental aspects that affect you? For example, the weather. I don't know. Weather can be because of barley, the farmers. If the farmers who grow the barley are not, for example, what would I say? If the farmers, there's drought, for example, they will not be able to supply to you people. You see, weather. Climatic changes, if there is drought, if there's too much. Environmental policies, do you adhere? How do you dump your waste? How do you emit gases? Okay, climatic changes, pressures from non-governmental organizations, for example, on issues to do with emission of gases. And then L, legal, we are looking at discrimination laws, antitrust laws, consumer protection, copyright, health, safety, all these laws that are there. Now D, let's go there, the D now. PESTEL. Ayele, you say demographic, very good. D for demographic. Who can tell us what demographic entails?
Demography means the age distribution of the population. It ranges from infant stage until the old. The age distribution of the population.
Ayele, your network is breaking. We didn't get very well. Can you repeat?
Or
is it my network?
Age-wise distribution of the population is demography, what we call demography.
Okay, age, demography. You're looking at the aspect of age. You're looking at aspect of race. You're looking at aspect of sex. You're looking at aspect. So there are a number of things that you can look at within the population that you have. So that is demography. And these can have a bearing on the consumption, for example, of our bishop breweries and the performance of the same. So now let's go back. I hope it's now clear. And I hope you've taken a
Doctor, before.
Yes, please.
May I raise a question?
Yes, please.
What does it mean by pressure from NGOs?
Sorry. Let me project. Let me share. Okay, let me share. Here, you are asking this one, yeah?
Yep, under environment. Lastly, it says not pressures from NGOs. What does it mean? And how it affects?
Okay. Now, this is on environmental issues. So environmental issues, we know you're dealing with how you you deal with solid waste, for example, the waste that comes from your company, gases, okay? How do you dispose of your whatever the raw materials? Biru can tell us what they call them there. Whatever they use, they throw a lot of things. So pressures from NGO, non-governmental organization, most of them are fighting for human rights.
Yes.
They are fighting for environmental issues. They are fighting for, are you getting
pollution?
Yes, pollution.
Environmental pollution.
Thank you. So they want to ensure Habesha breweries, for example, complies to what is there. So that's the pressure from NGO. Is that clear?
I got it. Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
በትምህርት ከፍ ብሎ መብረር ይቻላል። ናሽናል አቪዬሽን ኮሌጅ የናሽናል ኤርዌይስ እህት ኩባንያ ከከፍተኛ ትምህርት አግባብነትና ጥራት ኤጀንሲ ሙሉ ዕውቅናን ባገኘንባቸው በማስተርስ ዲግሪ ኤምቢኤ በስትራቴጂክ ማኔጅመንት፣ ኤምቢኤ በባንኪንግ እና ፋይናንስ፣ ኤምቢኤ በቢዝነስ ሊደርሺፕ፣ ኤምቢኤ በሪስክና ኢንሹራንስ፣ ኤምኤስሲ በኢንተርናሽናል ትሬድ እና ኢኮኖሚክስ ዘርፎች በእውቀት ለመቅረጽ የበቁ ፕሮፌሰሮቻችን አረንጓዴ መብራታቸውን አብርተዋል። በነገራችን ላይ በኬንያ ሀገር ከሚገኙ ስመጥር ዩኒቨርሲቲዎች በሚመጡ ፕሮፌሰሮች የትኩረት መስክ ትምህርቶቹ መሰጠታቸው ልዩ ያደርገናል። በምርጥ የትምህርት ስርዓት የተገነባው ናሽናል አቪዬሽን ኮሌጅ በመጀመሪያ ዲግሪ በአቪዬሽን ማኔጅመንት፣ በሆቴል ማኔጅመንት፣ በአካውንቲንግ እና ፋይናንስ፣ በማርኬቲንግ ማኔጅመንት አስተማማኝ ትምህርት ይገቢውና ራስዎንና ሀገሮን ይለውጡ። አድራሻ 22 አደባባይ ወደ ሾላ በሚወስደው መንገድ ላይ ናሽናል አቪዬሽን ኮሌጅ የናሽናል ኤርዌይስ እህት ኩባንያ ህልሞን እውን ያደርጋል።
So let's go to where we were. We go back to our slide where, it disappeared now because I exited. The drawing I had drawn, so you are the ones to it's not there because
three layers of environment.
but we were on top the macro environment. Now the macro environment is what I've explained, political. That now, as the CEO, let me ask a question: can the CEO control the macro environment?
Yes.
Can the CEO control the macro environment? No. So what do they do? Remember the first one I said, what did I say the first one? The CEO can do what? In the internal.
Internal.
What did I say? Yes. Sorry?
Control internal environment.
The internal, the CEO will control.
Control. The word is control. Okay. The macro, I say they do what?
Influence.
Influence. Good. Thank you. Influence. So the macro and yes, the macro environment, the word is they comply. Comply. Yeah. Comply. Have you seen that? Comply.
Yes, yes.
What do we mean by comply? C-O-M-P. I'm writing in the chat room just now. Comply. They comply. Comply.
Adhering to the microenvironment elements.
Yeah, adhering to the set rules and regulations, adhering to the set policies that exist within the organization. So in the macro level, you only comply. If the government says there's COVID-19, we are not supposed to teach, comply. The government says politically, this is the direction the universities is going to take, comply. Environmental, we need this certification, comply. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Yes.
Any question on the internal micro and macro and PESTEL that I've shared?
What are the basic techniques or methods to comply with the macro environment?
Good question. What are some of the techniques that can help, for example, Habesha breweries comply? Let me hear. I think you people can also tell me that before I add mine. What can Habesha breweries do to comply? I think that's what Ayala you're asking. Techniques they can adopt. Yes, Mama?
Yeah.
Updating ones, we can take an example. Recently, the government of Ethiopia has said the advertisement of beer in any media, right?
Yes.
So just the company needs to update itself and what is going on in terms of some legal actions and other political actions, and adhering to those rules and regulation.
Okay. So adherence, first of all, adherence to the set rules and regulation. Complying. What some of the things they can do? That is one. They need to comply. No advertising of what? You can't advertise. Adhere to that first. Number two.
They have to update themselves to do and to know what to do and what not to do.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else? Bekal, you are very quiet. What is happening?
There's nothing happening.
Okay, let's hear whether we are together.
I'm listening about the factories.
Okay, so let's hear what techniques can Habesha breweries adopt to ensure that those things that I've talked about are adhered to.
Might be the technological factors in the unemployment, reducing unemployment, technological changes, and
did you get Ayela's question? Ayela, can you repeat your question again? I think Bekal has not gotten it fully.
Usually what we said is for the CEO, he controls the internal environment, influence the micro environment, and comply with the macro environment.
Correct.
The macro environment has various impacts, positive as well as negative impacts on the company. So what are the major techniques that an organization able to comply with the impact of the macro environment?
Good, yes, that is what he's asking. What techniques can, for example, Habesha breweries adopt to be able to comply with the macro environment? And Mamo has already given us one. So do you have any other, or can I share what I have?
Maybe it is related with corporate social responsibility.
No.
But you see, corporate, when you do corporate, are you complying? Now, number one, what I would say is that number one, of course, we must adhere to the policies that have been laid down. Number two, a company needs to have the right personnel who are well trained to advise the organization on how to comply. I'll give a good example. In Kenya, you're supposed to pay taxes. I'm sure it's the same with Ethiopia. What is your percentage of taxes?
Of?
16%?
Of what?
60% is the VAT and 30% is the profit tax.
15.
VAT.
15.
Okay, in Kenya it's 16. So you can see, but during COVID it was lowered to 14. The president lowered to 14 because of COVID. So you can see an organization like Habisha Breweries must be able to have the right personnel. That's why I say skilled personnel who are well advised to be able to see how they can advise the organization. For example, the changeover from 16 to 14, configuration of the ETR machines for the same. So they must have skilled personnel. Number two, the people in the organization must be well trained to be able to understand this is why we are complying to 1, 2, 3. And 3, they must be penalties like a punishment for those who do not comply. So I would give those as some of the things, Ayele, that companies can do. You can do training, you need to recruit skilled people who will advise us. Penalties must be there, and also adherence to the laid regulations. Is it clear?
By the way, doctor, can't we put as in a general?
Can we put?
That the company has to be proactive to its macro environment. Just being proactive, futuristic, to understand what is going on in the macro environment.
Yeah, it is important to understand the trends, like economically, the trends that are going on within the market. Politically, for example, the US is going for elections now. If the US is going for election, it affects the developing countries also. If we are on election, business is also affected. So it is correct also. That is another way of complying. You need to study. So I've just given a few. Of course, we cannot exhaust everything. Okay, so let's move on. Let's move on from where we were. So I've talked of the environment. So how the organization culture is created. 1, company founders. 2, experience with the external environment. And that is what I've shown. Now, look at the quote given there. Culture starts with the founders. Gibson says, you can't just decide one day what you want the culture to be. It has to be with the founders because they understand the history of how you operate. Now, look at the diagram that I've given there. Now, here we are looking at founders' values and preferences, the people who are starting the organization. But also, it can be industry driven or demand by the industry. You can see it there, okay? And these leads, the founders and the industry demand, because businesses are started, companies are started because of the demand that exists within an industry. You don't want to go to a very competitive one, okay? From there, we see this helps to develop the early values, goals, and assumptions as you start. These are the initial ones when people are starting, okay? You have not laid out all the procedures. Now from there, you need to select attraction, selection, attrition of the best employees. You bring the employees on board, bring in aspect of leadership, and bring in aspect of reward. What are we doing here? Here we are trying to ensure the culture is being maintained. There are certain values we are picking that we want to grow. There are certain goals that we want to nurture. So we bring in the right people, the right leadership, reward system. These will bring the right organization culture. So at this stage, we are looking at creating the culture. If you look at up to here, we are doing culture creation here. At this stage, we are doing culture maintenance, maintaining by rewarding people, by having the right leadership, okay? So this is what it entails when we talk of how organization culture is created, okay? How organization culture is created within the organization. So you must have the right people. That's why I say they must be well trained. They must be well selected. They must be well motivated, even if you're giving rewards. Now, what are some, unless there's any question on that, what are some of the tools for transmitting culture? Because you need to know how to transmit this culture to the people. Number one is symbols, objects that say more than meets the eye, trophies, okay, certain trophies. You got certain trophies. Now, these trophies remind you where you've come from. At the university, we have one desk. We call it the black desk. That black desk is like a symbol. Why? When we started the campus, that was the first desk that was bought, and the people who are there, they used it to collect what? Students' views and to start the campus. So nobody wants to dismiss it. So we always keep it. So symbols, trophies, awards at the reception, achieving success, that is a symbol. Number 2, slogans. I'm sure you have mottos or statements. Slogans are phrases that capture the organization culture. J.K. Watts, for example, at the university is setting trends in higher education, but we are setting trends in research, innovation, and training. Slogans. So those people, that's the culture that we revolve around. Another one is stories. Stories, we can be told, in the olden days, we used to do what? This company used to do this. In the olden days, so stories can help us. And even in our own culture, that is how it's transmitted. Jargon are special words or languages that define a certain culture. Within certain groups of people, there are certain words that they use which other people don't know. For example, in the university, we have what we call defenses, theses. If you went to a medical field, profession, a nurse, and told them theses, they will not understand. There are certain unique words that we use in the profession we are in. People in accounts have certain things, credit, I don't know, debit, they use. People in agriculture have their own things. People in IT have their own things. So jargon, special language that people only in that field tend to understand. For example, if I said we are doing MBA to somebody out there who is not in the university or has not done a master's, they may not understand what is an MBA. Some might say MBA is married but available. Are you getting that?
Yeah.
That can also be MBA, you hear? I'm just giving that. MBA, some people say that. Or PhD. People say permanent head damage. Okay, so somebody might not understand. Of course, mine is not damaged. I'm a doctor. I'm still there. So jargons, they're called jargons, certain words we use. Okay, and then we have ceremonies. These are special events that we use to commemorate the corporate values. Have events. I think you told me you do end of year parties. You told me you bond together awards and so on, okay? So I've just given a few, you can look at the others. Now look at this Nike story. The Nike story, just telling it and keeping it alive. Okay, I'll just read it. New employees at Nike are told stories that transmit the company's underlying cultural values. The themes of some of the most important Nike stories are summarized along with several other ways of the company to help keep its heritage alive. So you keep telling people, the new people who come on board during orientation, tell them stories. So the new employees are told, you can see, new stories, okay? The following stories. The founder, Philip Neat, was a middle distance runner who started the business by selling shoes out of his car. Phil, running coach, and the company co-founder, Bill Bowerman, developed the famous waffle sole by pouring rubber into the family waffle iron. The late Stephen, coached by Bowen, battled to make running professional sport and was committed to helping athletes. To ensure that the tales of Nike heritage are kept alive, what does the company do? They take new hires to the track where Bowerman coached and site of where he had a car crash accident, I think car crash. He created a heritage wall, you can see that, okay? They require salespeople to tell the Nike story to employees of the, so you can see this is an example of Nike, how they have been able to retain their culture, telling stories of how Nike started from running coach all the way to partnering with the person who was training to develop a professional sport. So the question I would ask, what story are you telling about your organization? What story are you sharing with the new people who come on board? Bekal, as a manager, what story are you telling people having worked in the bank for 15 years? You said 15?
No, 13 years.
13 years. What story are you telling them about your bank? so that they can stay and know the culture that exists, okay? So it is important to have that kind of stories to make culture permanent. Okay, we also have examples of this. I gave just examples of companies that also do the same. These are certain slogans. I think we talked of slogans that companies can use. Nike slogan is just do it, just do it. Adidas, impossible is nothing. McDonald's, I'm loving it, okay? BMW, the ultimate driving machine, okay? So I don't know which one. Coca-Cola is always Coca-Cola, okay? So you have a number, there are slogans that you use, and every organization, especially when I do a lot of strategic planning consultancy, and one of the things that I tell them is ensure your organization develops a slogan, because people tend to relate with it. People tend to relate with it. Okay, maybe just for brainstorming or exercise, can we hear the slogan for your company? Do you know it?
Yes.
Yes, Mama? Mama, or Bekal, you say?
Bakal. Bisho is the first.
I don't get
Bisho
it.
is the first. Bisho is the first.
Okay.
Our slogan is safety first. Actually, as we are giving the coverage for property, life, and liability,
yes,
our slogan is safety first.
Safety first, safety first. Correct. That's good. Biru Abera,
building trust.
Which one?
Building trust.
Building trust, building trust. That is good. Bekal, which one is for your bank? If your bank doesn't have, you need to develop one.
It is in Amharic.
Okay, translate to me. What does that say in English?
Work from
the bank that strive for growth.
Okay, now let's dig deep holes in your organization. Let me deep holes. Now I'm speaking as a strategic management consultant, okay? Is it correct? No. Let me pick the problems, weaknesses, so that you learn and you improve. Is it correct what they have done? They have put their slogan or their motto in Amharic. Is that correct?
It's different in English and in Amharic. But
no,
they put it.
No. You told me it's in Amharic. Let me hear. Is it okay?
They put in English, but it's not the same. Just like in Amharic language. But the bank that strive for growth in English.
So if I come to your bank tomorrow,
the motto is very big.
Okay,
the motto is very big. Very
just
big.
Carl, there's a point I want to drive at. If I come to your bank tomorrow morning, what will I find written, or when you send me a letter down there, because sometimes that's where we put the mottos or the slogans down at the letter footer, or you put it in the organization. What will I see?
I will send you the picture at the back of my sitting. There is a brand of NIB International Bank, and on the lower side there is in Amharic Yisarwal Kalib and Denabi, and in English the bank strives to stimulate growth.
Okay, now you're trying to defend himself. Is it correct for organizations to? Yeah, is it correct for organizations to use their, what did I say?
Your family, please listen me. Your family put the bag as the back of your shoulder. That's why I'm living with that. But
of course you are loyal. You are a loyal employee. That's true. Anyway, what I meant is it is important when you're doing communication. Of course, Amharic is the main language in Ethiopia, but it's good to have a global touch, because I'm sure you're looking at expanding globally to other regions, like Safari.
International. They are working internationally.
Yes. The vision. Remember, we are talking about the vision that the leader should have. For example, Safaricom now, I hear it might be coming to Ethiopia. In Kenya, the main language of communication is Swahili. I think I used a few things Swahili I taught you. But we also speak English. Now, imagine if Safaricom used just the slogans and everything in Swahili, like what they do in Tanzania. it might limit the people communicating. But we understand you have said there is Amharic and there is English. So we get it. Biru Abera, you never gave us your slogan. And we have used the organization as the example for today's class a lot.
Slogans, we are selling values.
Sorry?
We are selling values.
Selling, is it selling?
Selling values. We are selling values.
But it doesn't relate with what you do. You are beer company. I expect something like drink to enjoy. Am I not correct? You are selling value.
You are right.
Are you a church? Are you seeing, guys, what I'm talking about?
They minimize value.
You're selling values. Which values? That motto.
Drinking.
That one is wrong. Ask your CEO needs to engage me next time when you're developing your strategic plan. I come to Ethiopia and help you develop because I can see there are gaps now. On a light note. Okay.
We said also, we have also another slogan.
Which
we said
one?
That it's a cold gold. Cold gold.
Cold.
Cold gold.
Cold gold.
Cold gold.
Okay, somebody write for me on the chat group. Hold gold or cold gold? I'm not getting it. Somebody write in the chat group.
Cold gold. Gold. Cold gold.
Somebody is typing. Let me check. Oh, cold gold. Okay, cold gold. Okay, yes, yeah, that one approved. That one is correct because cold, the chilled drink, and you are holding gold as you take, but I don't think it's gold. Okay,
by the way, doctor, can it be possible? Yes, they are selling beer, they are selling alcohol, but they said we are selling values.
Which values are they selling? Tell me. That's a church. Is it a church? Is it a school?
Because
selling values.
That is my question.
No values. I think no. Values. No.
Doctor, please participate.
Satisfaction from drink.
Sorry,
I want to participate.
Yes.
I want to participate.
Okay.
In the brand of the Habasha Bira, there is a woman.
Yes.
Solomon drink. She has got very big eye, and
yes.
But whether she is a woman or a boy, we cannot know about that.
Okay. How? Okay. Can somebody?
It's a Solomon drink. Yeah.
Okay. Do this. Bekal, can you Google and screen share with me? Let me see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I will do it.
No, this is an ancient drawing, an ancient architecture of Ethiopians. When they draw the pictures of people, they draw like this. This is a chocolate face and a grown hair with Afrotic style. This is Ethiopian.
Let me see it. Okay, Tesfire, please make Bikal the co-host so that he's able to share with me.
The picture?
Okay.
Let's go. Thank you.
Bakal.
Let's Bekal.
Why Biru share us? Why Biru share us?
Share.
Don't you have the logo?
For the time being, let me find.
My gosh.
Okay, let's be
You are only selling values.
I will do it now.
Okay, share. You're already a co-host. You have already been made a co-host. Let's see so that we see what values, because slogans, there must be slogans, you see. Let's see the photo he's talking about. Let's see. I think you can be able to share because you have been made a co-host now. Just check on your screen and share with us.
Okay, I will share it now.
Okay.
Watch out, the woman.
Let's see.
It is not a woman.
Picture. Let me see. Don't bias me before I see.
You see?
You're influencing, right?
Did you see?
No, you have not shared the screen.
You don't share.
How about now?
No. You click on the share screen, ensure the screen is open. The way you did last time. I think there's a time you shared with us.
Yes, I know it.
Let me share. Make me a co-host.
You have it? Okay. Ayele, please make Ayele. You can remove the car.
Why do you be fast?
Okay,
What about now?
Wait
What
a minute.
about now?
No,
you
nothing.
couldn't, please.
Yeah,
you couldn't. Just believe you couldn't.
Okay, let's ask test 5 make remove. Okay, Ayele is the co-host now. Ayele, try please. Try, we see whether we can see it. Ayele, can you manage?
Yeah, why don't I?
የለም ኒክላስ
Oh, you sorry? We are lovely class. You think we are lovely class? Okay, if not test fire, we will get it for us because I can't. Okay, let's see. They can't share test fire. They can't share anything.
he's on the way.
Yeah. I'm going to share you. I'm going to share you, but it's not possible.
Can you see my screen now?
It is blank.
Yeah, right.
No, it's not showing anything for me.
Because it's not allowed.
Double click to share.
No,
you are already co-host. You have to double click.
Who? Ayele or Bakal?
Ayele.
I already double clicked and there is no.
Let me share.
There is nothing. It is black. It's black or yellow.
Give me for me an option.
Okay, remove
in my screen.
Okay, remove Ayele. Stop sharing Ayele. Ayele, please. Okay, Ayele, remove. Stop sharing. We have who? We have Biru. Try.
Let me try. Give me an option. Give me an option. It's closed now.
Just fire. Make Biru Abera.
Okay. Yeah, I will share it.
Ayele, stop sharing. Remove the stop sharing on your side. Otherwise, you'll not be able to share. You can't have two people share at the same time.
Give the right to me.
Ayele.
Yes, I'm trying, but
leave the room for us. Leave the room for Biru.
Stop sharing. Just say stop sharing.
Stop sharing. Okay. I clicked the stop sharing.
What about now?
Good. Yes. Okay, I can see it now. So which one? Highlight. I like this
female or male?
This is a lady.
Okay, wait a minute. I watch Kim.
This is a lady. This is a lady.
This is a lady.
Do you know why she's not? She's a lady.
Oh, it's a lady.
How could I identify her hair?
And she's not seeing to the front. Do you know why? Because the previous Ethiopian ladies in history, they are very shy and looking the male people in the side way, not in the front.
Oh my gosh.
This is a lady. Wow, it's beautiful. I like it. No wonder the gold. Okay, the gold. Discovered.
That's what you say, cold gold.
Cold gold. I agree. It looks, and I love the colors and the design of that boxes. It's artistic. Okay, so I confirm Ayele. I confirm it's a lady. Even the way the eyes and the eyebrows are done.
Yeah, eyelash.
The eyelashes are done. That's a lady.
No,
okay, stop
doctor, this is a lady, but the picture in the other one doesn't describe it is a lady or not. They have several pictures. The picture in the bottle is different from this.
Okay, I think no, it's the
same. Check on the
bottle. When I come to Ethiopia, listen, when I come to Ethiopia, we will check the bottle. I'll come and check the bottle. Okay. Thank you. Stop sharing now.
Biru will invite us.
Okay, thank you. Stop sharing, Biru, now. Thank you so much. We appreciate. Oh, you have another one? Let's see.
This is about the beer.
This is the picture in the bottle. It is different from the one. Not
the
this
same.
one.
It's the
Not
same
that one.
Almost.
In the
Which one?
bottle.
Yeah,
Almost
it's the same.
similar.
Almost similar.
Almost similar.
No.
We couldn't say the same,
Okay.
almost similar.
Thank you. I've seen it. It looks nice. I appreciate. It looks nice. Okay, stop sharing so that we finish the class.
We shall better check it later on in the group.
When I come
The
to
bottle
Ethiopia
is
next,
different. It's not different.
Yes.
The same.
Okay, when I come to Ethiopia next, we'll check that. We'll be able to check the bottle and confirm what you have there. But I think I like the colors. Okay, that is also branding.
We
It's
will
called
check them.
branding.
Cheers.
It's called branding. Okay, so let's continue so that we finish. What are the factors that promote changes in organization culture? What are some of the factors? So I'll mention a few. Number one, and by the way, these are good questions to be brought in the exam. You can be told Habisha Breweries. I like Habisha Breweries. I think it's stuck. Has been operating for the last maybe 15 years. And as a manager or as a leadership and management student, the CEO has invited you to advise them on how they can manage their culture, organization culture. Discuss some of the factors that can promote changes in the organization culture. So I'll use a long story, but what I'm heading at is what? This slide that we have here. So what are some of the factors that promote changes in the organization culture? Number one is composition of the workforce. People entering the organization may differ with those already in, okay? Those who enter in the organization, because we are new, I might be coming from a different organization where we are used to doing things in a different way. I come to the culture that has been created in this organization. So that's a factor, the composition of the workforce. Where are we coming from and where are we going? Number two, mergers and acquisition. Who can tell us what are mergers? Mergers. Have you done them? I'm sure you've done them somewhere in business course. Mergers. This word, mergers. What are mergers and acquisition?
Amalgamation or the combination of two different organizations into one.
Perfect. Do you have an example?
The purchasing or buying of one organization by another.
Do we have examples of mergers in Addis Ababa?
Yes, let me tell you.
Yes.
Yes, Biru?
The mergers of mineral water and coca.
Mineral water and coca.
It is acquisition.
No, I don't get it. Are they now one company? You know, with okay, just a minute. With mergers, we are having company X and company Y coming together. That's a merger.
Yes.
Sometimes the staff are swallowed in both, and they might create a new name. For example, CFC Bank, CFC Stanbic. It was CFC, it was Stanbic. It's a bank in Kenya. It's called CFC Stanbic. Okay, that is an example of a merger. So that is why I'm asking, the one Coca-Cola and water, did they come together? I don't think so.
The mineral water. The mineral water.
What is the name of the mineral water?
Ambo water.
Oh, Ambo. With what? With Coca-Cola, they came together. Now they are called what?
Actually, the name is the same. They're called
They use their own name.
Everybody uses their own name.
Yes. It is acquisition. It seems just like that. But there is another example.
Form a new organization, I think.
Okay, Bekal, let's hear Bekal.
I have another example.
Yes.
There is a merger between two government-owned commercial banks. That is Mortgage Bank and Commercial Bank of Ethiopia. They are merged together, and they are one. They create one company, but they use the first one, Commercial Bank of Ethiopia. The name is remain there, but they merge together, and the capital also merged within one organization.
Is it a merger or acquisition?
Let's have one person talking.
Is it a merger or acquisition?
Merging.
No, the development bank, the housing construction bank is completely dissolved.
Dissolved, and merged to commercial bank. Every credits and every deposits collectively getting into account of commercial bank of Ethiopia. That's why
That
it's
seems
merging.
accusation. That seems accusation.
Acquisition is there is a shareholders. They get their
The
own
shareholder is the
benefits.
government for both. The government is the shareholder for both.
In Ethiopia, there is a margin of parties, political parties only, not business sectors.
No, I would like to answer for Mr. Ayele. I would like to answer to Mr. Ayele. It is a merger because every staffs of construction business bank goes to commercial bank. They employed. They recorded as an employee.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying it seems just like a merging, but two government-owned industries collected together and gone with one name. That name is Commercial Bank of Ethiopia.
Do they change?
I've got
They
an
keep which
example.
name? They keep
Commercial
which name?
Bank. They pick one of the name.
Okay.
Commercial Bank of Ethiopia.
Then that is a merger. That's a merger.
Yeah.
We call it merger stroke acquisition. Merger stroke acquisition. Sometimes what happens is that they keep the name of one, the bigger one, maybe because they have bigger shares.
Yep.
I'm trying
yes,
to look for
yes. That's why they do it.
Yes, if they are bigger share. I'm trying to look for my slides that I teach my students on the same. I show you, but I can't get it. So sometimes if they are keeping the shares, they will become the main company, the one that is going to have the name. So mergers, sometimes mergers and acquisition, they are used together, mergers and acquisition. So the one company comes, the other one comes, the employees maybe are brought together at the end of the day. Some are fired. We are having a lot of that in Kenya, including the banking sector. I can't find the slides. I wanted to show you the mergers and acquisition. I can't still find it, maybe because I'm looking for it in a hurry, but I'm sure we'll be able to discuss more. In case I get it, I'll be able to share it in the next class. Okay, good. At least you have that. So mergers and acquisition can be factors that promote changes in organization culture. How does this happen? Okay, let me share so that we finish. How does this happen? Look at it. We have something we call culture clash. Okay, culture clash. Okay, culture clash.
Yes.
And what happens in this is that one company was dealing with this, another company was dealing with this. You are coming, both of you together. So what happens? Everybody is trying to implement their own cultures. That is why we call it culture clash. Problems resulting from attempts to merge two or more organization cultures that are incompatible. For example, I'll use even the obvious culture. If I am coming to live in Ethiopia, I might have, okay, no, let me use the best example. A Kenyan lady getting married to an Ethiopian man, and they live in one house, they'll have culture clash. Why? The man will be asking to eat injera every day, whereas the Kenyan lady will be asking to eat ugali every day. Are you getting the difference? Can you see?
Yeah.
Two people coming from different cultures bringing. You're going to
incompatible.
They cannot be compatible. Thank you. Number 3, strategic cultural change. Strategic cultural change. As the company grows, culture changes. You have started with 2 employees, 5 employees, 10 employees, 100 employees. Culture changes. People bring in, because we saw culture comes from the founder and the environment, the internal, the macro, and that. Responding to the internet, information sharing, very critical. This is also a factor that promotes changes in the culture. How do you respond to the issues? Technology has become very dynamic. Things are changing. Now we are using Zoom. We are in Ethiopia. I'm teaching from here. These are things that are going to affect the way organizations operate. Now, this is what we were to do. That is what I was to cover. This is our group work, but I'm seeing time is already out. This is what we are to discuss. So I think the next class, we are going to be put in breakout rooms because time is already out. If we discuss this, we'll go up to 8:39. This class is, we talk a lot. We talk a lot, which is good. Yeah, which is good because it helps us to understand the concepts better. So we will discuss this next time. This is the first thing. When we come next time, we are going to sit in breakout rooms and thrash out these questions as we discuss, and then we present, because I want every time we finish a section or a topic, we have something. So we are not going to discuss this today, but I'll share these notes, and then next week, you can be thinking about them. I'll put you in the breakout room. We are going to discuss. One question is, organization culture is mushy concept. You can't see it, yet you know it's there. What indications are there that organization culture really does exist? So I want to hear what things within the organization. And then number two, think of an organization in which you have worked. Was its culture predominantly hierarchical? Was it market? Was it clan or adhocracy? Was this an effective culture given the nature of employee employed there and the type of work done? I'll twist this question. Yes. I'll twist this question. I want to hear the organization, pick the organization, tell us what they do. We need to know. Don't just tell us Habisha Breweries. Like now I know it because that's what they do. Pick an organization, tell us what they do, okay? Tell us what they do so that we can understand it. Give us a brief concept. In fact, what we can do, I think, because we can't go into breakout rooms, we are going to have ourselves into two groups. We are going to do this in groups. Let two people handle question one. Let another person handle question two. Or we handle both. Let's hear both. I think that it's not quite involving. Let's have two people, two people. So I don't know how you want to do it, who will match with who, but I can leave that because you are all gentlemen. And I don't want people fighting or clashing on my screen.
Me and Mamo will do one, and
no, you do both. No. You do both, and it is group work. It is group work. Please
both
listen.
for 2-2.
Okay. 2-2. It is 2-2. This is teamwork. And PowerPoint presentation. I will award marks. Please don't just give one slide. I want to see at least 10 slides. I'm helping you do your presentation skills. I want to see photos. If you can bring a video, I want you to become now, you are managers now. Where you're going, your masters, your managers. I've seen our friend Biru is even doing big presentations. So you need to have these skills. So 2 questions, 2 people, PowerPoint presentation. On Tuesday when we come, we'll discuss and listen to those presentations as we move ahead. So, Ayala, you are saying you want to be with who? You have already chosen your partner.
Mamo.
Okay, why is your partner in crime?
Pardon?
Okay, whichever way, I don't know why he chose. So automatically, Biru and Bekal, automatically, you are left together. So
I don't want him.
It or not. You don't
I
want
don't
him.
want him.
You want who?
I don't want Burru because he's in Asalla. His countryside. He cannot help me. We are friends. We are friends.
Okay.
We are friends. We'll collaborate together.
Okay.
We'll present best thing.
Okay.
Don't worry.
So I'll send the notes after this class. I'll send so that you pick the activities. Please, we have a weekend coming, so participate. Make the presentation good. The first one you tried, but not very good. I want to see a good job. Now you are 2 minds. 2 minds are better than 1. So before we close, let's hear test fire. Okay, Mamo, you're raising your hand.
Yep, doctor.
Yes.
The question says just it asks about the company where we are working. So we are two different individuals. Which company is going to select?
I've changed that. Choose an organization of choice. Wait, choose. I'm changing it now. Choose an organization of choice and justify the selection. Okay, Ayala, okay, not Ayala, Mamo, see what I've done? I've changed it. So pick one. Choose an organization. Choose one and justify why you have chosen that one. That's okay?
Okay.
Okay. So let's close, but we need
ልዩነት መፍጠር ዓላማችን ነው። ዓለም አቀፍ ተወዳዳሪ መሆን አለባችሁ። የናሽናል ኤርዌይስ እህት ኩባንያ ናሽናል አቪዬሽን ኮሌጅ ጥራትና ደረጃውን የጠበቀ ስልጠና በመስጠት ብቁ ዜጋ እያፈራን ነው። በፍላይት ኦፕሬሽን፣ በበረራ መስተንግዶ፣ በቲኬቲንግና ሪዘርቬሽን፣ በሆቴልና ቱሪዝም ሙያዎች አሰልጥነን ተወዳዳሪ እናደርጉታለን። ኮሌጃችን ካናዳ ከሚገኘው ኢንተርናሽናል ኤር ትራንስፖርት አሶሲዬሽን አያታና ከእንግሊዙ ICM ጋር በመተባበር ዓለም አቀፍ ዕውቅና ያለው ስልጠና እየሰጠ ይገኛል። በፍላይት ኦፕሬሽን፣ በበረራ መስተንግዶ የምንሰጣቸው ስልጠና ከኢትዮጵያ ሲቪል አቪዬሽን ባለስልጣን ሙሉ ዕውቅና አለው። አድራሻ ከጎላጉል ታወር 22 አደባባይ ወደ ሾላ በሚወስደው መንገድ ላይ የናሽናል ኤርዌይስ እህት ኩባንያ ናሽናል አቪዬሽን ኮሌጅ ህልሞን እውን ያደርጋል።